Imagine this. You work hard every single day. You wake up early, you meet deadlines, you pay your bills on time. You do everything society tells you to do. Yet somehow, at the end of every month, your bank account tells the same story. There's never enough money left. Now here's something even more surprising. Millions of people around the world earn good salaries. Many of them make six figures, yet a large number still struggle with financial stress. How is that possible? If making more money automatically created wealth, why do so many high-income earners still live paycheck to paycheck? The answer has very little to do with intelligence, and it has even less to do with luck. The real difference begins long before someone becomes wealthy. It begins with the financial decisions they make every single day. Today, we're going to uncover one of the biggest financial misconceptions that keeps millions of people from ever building real wealth. And by the end of this video, you may never look at money the same way again. Because wealth isn't built in one day. It isn't built with one lucky investment. And it certainly isn't built by chasing every new financial trend. Real wealth is built quietly, patiently, one decision at a time. Let's begin with a simple question. What does it actually mean to be wealthy? Most people picture luxury homes, expensive cars, private jets, designer clothes, exotic vacations. But appearances can be incredibly misleading. Someone can drive a luxury car while drowning in debt. Someone can own a huge house while struggling to pay the mortgage. Someone can look rich without actually being wealthy. Real wealth isn't about what people see. It's about what they don't see. It's about having investments that continue growing while you sleep. It's about having savings that protect you during difficult times. It's about having options, the freedom to choose how you spend your time, the freedom to say no to work that doesn't align with your goals, the freedom to make decisions without constant financial pressure. That's what real wealth looks like. Now let's meet two fictional people, Michael and David. Both are 30 years old, both graduated from college, both work in the same city, both earn $75,000 a year. At first glance, their lives appear almost identical. Every month they receive the same paycheck, they pay similar taxes, they face similar living costs. But there is one small difference. A difference that almost nobody notices. Every payday, Michael spends first, then saves whatever is left. David saves and invests first, then spends what remains. At first, that difference looks insignificant, almost too small to matter. 5 years pass, nothing dramatic happens. 10 years pass. Now the gap begins to grow. 20 years later, Michael still depends entirely on his next paycheck. David owns investments that generate income even while he's asleep. Neither man won the lottery, neither inherited millions of dollars, neither discovered a secret investment. The only difference was the financial system they followed consistently over time. This is one of the most misunderstood truths about money. Income creates opportunity, but habits create wealth. And that's where most people unknowingly make their biggest mistake. Instead of building assets, they continuously increase their lifestyle. Every salary increase becomes an excuse to spend more. A newer phone, a bigger television, a more expensive car, a larger house, more subscriptions, more monthly payments. Without realizing it, every upgrade quietly steals a piece of their future financial freedom. This pattern has a name. It's called lifestyle inflation. And it affects people at almost every income level. The more they earn, the more they spend, which means their financial stress often grows alongside their income. Money increases, expenses increase, freedom never arrives. That's why income alone is never enough. Because earning more money doesn't automatically change financial behavior. It simply gives those behaviors a bigger budget. So if income isn't the answer, what is? The answer begins with understanding one simple principle. Every dollar you earn can only do one of two things. It can be spent, or it can become an asset. That's it. There is no third option. The wealthy don't see money as something to consume. They see it as something to recruit. Every dollar becomes an employee. Its job is to produce more dollars. While most people work for money, the wealthy gradually build systems where money begins working for them. And that's where investing changes everything. But let's be clear, investing isn't gambling. It's not chasing the latest trend. It's not buying whatever social media tells you to buy. Real investing is surprisingly boring. It's patient, it's disciplined, and most importantly, it's consistent. Think about planting a tree. You don't dig it up every week to see if it's growing. You water it, You protect it, and then you allow time to do its work. Money works in much the same way. The problem is, most people want financial results at the speed of the internet, but wealth still grows at the speed of patience. This is where psychology quietly takes control. Our brains are naturally attracted to immediate rewards. Buying something new feels exciting. Receiving a delivery creates anticipation. Upgrading your lifestyle feels like success. Saving money feels invisible. Investing money feels even slower. That's why delayed gratification is one of the most valuable financial skills anyone can develop. Not because saving is exciting, but because freedom is worth waiting for. Now imagine this. Every month, you receive an extra $500. One person spends it immediately, another invests it consistently. At the end of the first month, the difference is almost impossible to notice. After 1 year, still relatively small. After 5 years, the gap becomes visible. After 20 years, that gap can become life-changing. Not because one person earned dramatically more, but because one person gave time the opportunity to multiply their decisions. That's the true power of consistency. Small actions, repeated over long periods, create extraordinary outcomes. Unfortunately, most people underestimate what they can achieve in 20 years because they're too focused on what happens in 20 days, and that's exactly why patience has become such a powerful financial advantage. Now let's talk about another mistake. Many people confuse income with wealth. They're not the same thing. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you own. Income can disappear if your job disappears. Assets can continue creating value long after you've stopped working. That's why financially successful people often spend years building assets before upgrading their lifestyles. They understand something that many people overlook. Looking wealthy and being wealthy are completely different goals. One seeks attention. The other creates freedom. And freedom is always the better investment. Here's an important question. If your paycheck stopped tomorrow, how long could your current lifestyle continue? A week? A month? 6 months? Several years? The answer to that question says far more about financial security than the size of your salary ever will. Because true financial confidence doesn't come from hoping the next paycheck arrives. It comes from knowing you've built a strong financial foundation that can support you through uncertainty. That's what wealth is really designed to do. It doesn't remove every problem, but it gives you more choices when problems appear. And in many ways, choice is one of the greatest forms of wealth anyone can possess. Now, here's something that surprises many people. Building wealth isn't mainly a math problem. It's a behavior problem. Most of us already know what we should do. Spend less than we earn. Avoid unnecessary debt. Save consistently. Invest for the long term. The challenge isn't knowing these ideas. The challenge is following them when emotions take over. Think about how many financial decisions are driven by feelings instead of logic. We buy things to celebrate. We buy things when we're stressed. We buy things to impress people we'll probably never meet again. And sometimes, we buy things simply because everyone else seems to have them. This is called social comparison. It's one of the most powerful forces influencing our financial behavior. When friends upgrade their cars, we feel pressure to upgrade ours. When social media shows luxury vacations, our own lives suddenly feel less exciting. When someone posts a picture of a new home, we begin questioning our own progress. But here's the truth. You're comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel, and that's a comparison you'll never win. The wealthiest people often understand something that others don't. Every dollar spent today has a hidden cost, not just the price you pay now, but the future growth you give up. Economists sometimes call this an opportunity cost. For example, imagine spending $1,000 today. The cost isn't only $1,000, it's also everything that money could have become if it had been invested and allowed to grow over time. This doesn't mean you should never enjoy your money. Quite the opposite. Money is meant to improve your life. The goal isn't to eliminate happiness. The goal is to avoid sacrificing tomorrow's freedom for today's impulse. That's why balance matters. Spend intentionally, save consistently, invest patiently, repeat. Simple doesn't mean easy, but simple works. Another important lesson is understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. An asset is something that has the potential to increase your financial position over time. A liability is something that regularly costs you money to own or maintain. Many people focus on buying things that look expensive, Financially successful people focus on owning things that create value. Over time, those different choices begin producing completely different lives. Now think about time itself. Everyone receives the same 24 hours each day, but financially successful people often use time differently. They invest in learning. They develop valuable skills. They improve their ability to make better decisions. Knowledge compounds just like money does. The more you learn, the better decisions you make. The better decisions you make, the stronger your financial future becomes. This is why reading one great book, learning one valuable skill, or understanding one important financial concept can produce benefits for decades. Small improvements rarely feel dramatic in a single day, but over years, they become extraordinary. There's another habit shared by many financially successful people. They don't try to predict every market movement. They understand that no one can consistently predict the future. Instead, they prepare for it. They build emergency savings. They diversify their investments. They avoid making emotional decisions during moments of fear or excitement. Because markets rise, markets fall, economies change, technology evolves, but disciplined behavior continues to outperform emotional reactions over the long run. And perhaps that's the greatest financial lesson of all. Wealth isn't built by being perfect. It's built by staying consistent when perfection isn't possible. Let's return to the question we asked at the very beginning. Why do 90% of people never build lasting wealth, while a small percentage quietly achieve financial freedom? The answer isn't hidden inside a secret investment. It isn't reserved for people with extraordinary intelligence, and it certainly isn't determined by luck alone. More often than not, it comes down to ordinary decisions, repeated consistently over an extraordinary period of time. Think about the people you admire financially. Most of them didn't become successful overnight. They built habits before they built wealth. They learned to control their spending before increasing it. They focused on creating value before chasing status. And perhaps most importantly, they understood that time is the greatest financial asset they would ever own. Here's something worth remembering. Money can always be earned again. Time cannot. Every year spent delaying good financial habits is a year that compound growth can never give back. That's why the best time to start investing wasn't when you received your first paycheck. It wasn't when the market was perfect. It wasn't when you felt completely ready. The best time was yesterday. The second best time is today. Because every small decision you make today has the potential to shape your future for years to come. Imagine your life 10 years from now. Not next week, not next month, 10 years. What would financial freedom mean to you? Would it mean spending more time with your family? Would it mean starting your own business? Would it mean retiring earlier than expected? Would it mean waking up every morning knowing that money no longer controls your choices? That future isn't built by one massive breakthrough. It's built by thousands of small actions that almost nobody notices. Saving a little more, learning a little more, investing a little more, avoiding unnecessary debt, making thoughtful decisions instead of emotional ones. Those actions may seem insignificant today, but over time, they become the foundation of an entirely different life. Remember Michael and David? They started in exactly the same place. The difference wasn't talent. The difference wasn't income. The difference wasn't opportunity. The difference was direction. Small changes in direction create massive differences in destination. That's true in finance, it's true in business, and it's true in life. The purpose of this video wasn't to promise quick riches, because real wealth doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from discipline, from patience, from continuous learning, and from making decisions today that your future self will thank you for. If you take only one lesson from this video, let it be this. Don't focus on looking wealthy. Focus on becoming financially secure, because expensive things can disappear, market conditions can change, jobs can come and go. But strong financial habits can stay with you for the rest of your life. Every dollar has a choice. Every paycheck has a purpose. Every financial decision writes another sentence in the story of your future. So ask yourself one final question. Will your next financial decision bring you closer to freedom or further away from it? The answer begins today. Thank you for spending your time with Fin Nexora. If you found this video valuable, subscribe and join